Hello everyone, and welcome to another Hammer tutorial. Today I'm in Hammer++ in the Gmod version, but of course, if your version has the same entities, it'll work all the same. So, today we're going to be learning how to make an animated elevator, which is going to stop between two floors. And there are other videos that cover a similar topic, but they tend to use brushes to make the elevator, and I think that can be a little overcomplicated. So I personally like to use model props instead, and so that's what we're going to do. So we're going to start with prop here, prop dynamic. And we're going to set the world model to freight elevator. Now you can use whatever model you want. This is the one they use in Half-Life 2 a lot, so I tend to like it. We're going to drag this to the center of the room. And the issue with this model, and a lot of models like it, it has no player clip. So if I were to start the map right now, I could walk straight through this thing. I'd fall straight through this thing, It's kind of just, you can walk straight through it. So to prevent that, I'm going to lower my grid size. I'm going to make a little clip here with the tool texture, tools invisible, cover the entire floor, hit enter. And it doesn't have to be perfect. But I do the same on the walls. Alright, like I said, it doesn't have to be perfect. The player can't actually see this stuff. It's just to prevent them from, falling out of the elevator. So, now we're going to control click all these brushes we made, and we're going to group them by hitting Control G. Now we're going to open up the object properties with Control T. We're going to convert this into a func move linear. And this is what's gonna actually make our elevator move. Because without it, it's just a model, And this is the simplest way I do it. You could get all fancy and make a func track train and stop between a bunch of different floors, but this is just simple, two-way, up and down. So that's what I like to do. Now we're gonna make another dynamic prop here. Just set the world model to elevator door. And this model's a little tricky. Just try and get it the best you can. In between this little slot here. Doesn't always line up perfectly, but no problem. That's probably good enough. So this will be our elevator door. So we're gonna name this elevator gate. We're also going to name our elevator model. Just name it elevator. And then we're going to name our move linear. Going to name it elevator move. Detour move. There we go. And so if we were to tell this move linear to activate, it would move up or down just fine. Move around, whatever. But these models here, they'd stay right where they are because they're not parented to this move linear. So that's what we're going to do. I'm going to parent these prop models to the move linear. And that's what's going to allow this elevator to move as one unit. And so now that we got this elevator moving as one whole unit, we need an actual floor for it to stop at, right? So what I like to do, I like to have my grid size to 512. Select the elevator, all of its parts, and then just drag it up. I should move it up to 512, and this is where it's going to stop at after 512 units. Decrease the grid, and make a little floor here. Extend that to the wall. There you go. Nice little orange depth texture. Then when you're done with that, just reselect everything, and you can move back down. Okay. And now you got to tell it where to stop at. So open the object properties for the move linear, and use select move distance, set it to 512, or you know, whatever move distance you want. And the speed, personal preference, just going to do 75. And now, just for fun, you can select a sound to be played when the brush starts and stops moving. So I'll do that real quick. Just do elevator move. Do that one. Elevator stop. Perfect. Hit apply. And then we want to set the move direction. You can really move it whichever direction you want. You can point it at something. You'll see the arrow there kind of moves towards that point. But you want to hit this drag down, or drop down, sorry. Hit up, and that'll make it so when the elevator first starts moving, it's going to move up to this point here. So, you know, that's all fine and dandy. But if we played it right now, it wouldn't go anywhere because we got nothing to tell it to go anywhere. So to do that, I'm going to make a funk button brush on this little button here. Zoom in. Make it smaller. Yeah, it's a little stretched, that's alright. Pull that in. Oops. Kind of struggling here. There we go. Enter. And then give it a texture. Tools invisible, that's what I do. And so we got this funk button brush over this button here. And what you can do is just simply set the output to move the elevator if you press it. But you know, if you do that, it's really only one output, which means once it gets to the top and you press it again, it's not going to move back down. It's just going to stay where it is. So, I mean, some people use two buttons, one for up and one for down. I think that's a little complicated. Just for simplicity's purposes, I like to use one button most of the time. Unless you're doing a bunch of floors, of course. But to do that, I like to make a logic branch. And what this does is it just flips between two Boolean values, which is true or false. So in implementation, I can set this output to flip between true or false, true being the elevator going up, and false being the elevator going down. So first I'm going to name this logic branch, logic elevator. I set the output to pressed, logic elevator, oops, toggle test. And what toggle test does, it just flips between the Boolean values, and it also fires the output associated with that value. So right now, it's initially set to 0, which means when I press this button, it'll flip to 1, it'll fire on true. So on true, target entity is named move linear, or elevator move. And via this input, we'll do open. And what open does, it tells the elevator to move up. Why is it open? I don't know, it's just how it is. And adversely close will move the elevator down. So we do on true, elevator move open, and on false, elevator move closed. There we go. And so now we got the button to move the elevator. But if we were to leave it like this, if we were to press the button midway between these floors, it would switch between going up or down, which means you could be here and you could hit the button and it move back down. And you know, that's not really how elevators work. So we're gonna add a little bit of a delay and just do a little bit of math. Divide how many units you go up by the speed. And for me, it's about 7 seconds. Which means you won't be able to reactivate the button until you reach the top floor. So for the most part, this is really it. It would work just fine if you played it. But we're gonna add a little bit of extra animation. Just, you know, pull everything together. And it's gonna do mostly with this gate here. You can see it's closed, so we're gonna real quick add a logic auto. And outputs on map spawn. Target entities named gates, elevator gates. Set animation to open. This will just make sure it's open when we play the game. And then what we also want to do is open the gate when it reaches a floor. So we're going to go into the object properties of the func move linear, set the output on fully open, which means when it reaches the top floor and it fully stops. We're going to entities named elevator gate, set animation to open, and we're going to copy and paste and do the same thing for when it fully stops at the bottom. So on fully closed, we'll do the same thing. And I'm just going to set a little delay just for fun. There we go. And then it'll open when it reaches the bottom of the top, but we haven't set it to close when the elevator starts moving. So we're going to go back to the logic branch and duplicate these, copy paste. We're going to target the gate here on true, elevator gate, going to close. There we go. And do the same thing for the on false. Set animation, close. There we go. And then optional, can add a little bit of sound to it. Maybe a generic. Name this sliding gate. And this will be the sound for the gate. Use whatever you want. I'm not going to do anything different for closed or open. I'm just going to do one sound, just for simplicity's sake. So now, I'm going to go back here, copy these, paste them, fully open up, fully closed. Target entities named sliding gate, play sound after 3 seconds. There we go. And same thing here on these set animations. Copy them, paste them. On true, on false. Target to the sliding gate sound and play sound. I'm going to set this to play everywhere. And that should be pretty much it. So now all we have to do is go into the game and test it. Alright, so now we're in our map. Here's our elevator. Ideally you'd have an elevator shaft, but for this tutorial, not going into that. Here we go. Everything's clipped very nicely. Hit the button. Gates will close. It'll go up. And it'll stop at this floor. Wait 3 seconds. And then when you hit it again, it'll go back down. And there's your elevator. Hopefully this helps some of you. And here's to more videos in the future.